everybody. It's game time live here on a Sunday night. Good to have you with us. Kevin McHale, Brian Shaw. I'm Matt Weiner. There's 2 games today.
Ooh, light. 2 football games, too.
2 football games, too. Those 2 may be connected.
Yeah. I think
Those 2 facts.
There's a reason.
Sometimes, the NBA owners, schedule makers, they're no dummies.
No, that's exactly.
Sometimes you account for what else is happening in the sports world.
It's a good day to have 2 basketball games.
That's exactly right.
It's smart.
Sweeping both ends of a home and home with the Wolves. Now to the aforementioned game in Denver. That's Nikola Jokic. He's good.
I like this, Nicole. He's putting the bully game on, went in the paint, and spent a lot of time early in this game kind of just shooting over guys and beating them up a little bit. I like that Jokic when he's that aggressive.
Denver's won 10 straight at home in this series between the 2 teams. Will Barton, never shy.
Never shy. He's been lighting it up lately.
On the run, TJ McConnell, good look ahead to Justin Holiday in transition. And then up top, Mason Plumlee, as good a backup center as there is in the NBA right now.
Yeah, finishes well, passes it well. He really does a nice job for Denver.
Miles Turner, big to big from Domantas Sabonis, knocks down the 3. Denver up 37-35. And then Jokic, all the way for the dunk.
Little fingertip dunk.
Yeah, didn't jump dunk, but.
Well, defense for Denver as Torrey Craig gets the block on Turner on the other end. Jokic running the floor, I wouldn't say sprinting down the floor, running the floor, and then he makes the assist to Torrey Craig.
This is what Sabonis does, pick, pop, and make.
And Sabonis has a dozen on 5 of 7 shooting. Indiana's still under 40% for the game, but down by just 4 at this point. TJ Warren leads the way with 16. Jokic has 24, 8 boards with just a single assist. He seems to be in scoring mode for the moment, at least tonight. Let's take you there now, 61-54, about midway through the 3rd quarter in the Mile High, and the only game happening right now.
It gives you the freedom to make mistakes when you're in this situation. If you're coming off and you're in the game and you got all the other stars, you can't make a mistake because you come out. Here you can make a mistake, so it gives them a lot of emotional freedom.
And now the Pacers, Nate McMillan will counter. He'll go smaller. He'll bring Holiday in, replacing Bataze.
Because he's trying to match up, if you will. If you look at their lineup, it's not that big. You got Craig and Grant on the floor with Morris and Barton, so the lineup isn't that big. Otherwise, you got him guarding one of those real mobile guys. And Dan Burke, I'm sure, told him that they need to make that change.
This time he missed it, but Brogdon got the rebound and floats it up and in.
Those are the rebounds that I've been talking about the wings and guards have to get.
Second chance opportunity for the Pacers. Now Grant against Holiday. Helping was Brogdon.
Well, we broke it up. See, they're going to end up trying to make a tough play here.
Grant fouled.
Well, he made it.
Grant, who just missed 2 free throws, back at the line. Fouling Justin Holiday, his first.
Well, Grant missed 2 free throws the last time he shot.
Yep. But not this time. Tonight's DraftKings Sportsbook trivia question. When we talked about this back on January 2nd, Michael Porter Jr., 25 points against the Pacers. Who holds the rookie record for most points in a game versus the Pacers?
You fans at home, you chime in and help us with that one.
Michael Porter Jr. spent his elementary school years in Fishers. So it was sort of a coming home for him, and that's knocked away. Jokic.
It's a foul.
That's Pacers ball.
They got, that may be poetic justice, but it was clearly a foul because Jokic knocked Sabonis off his dribble. That's how they got the ball.
Brogdon, Holiday, Sabonis, Warren, Lamb. Cutting is Warren, who pounds it down.
You know what Warren has? Good instincts about when to move and where to move. He not only caught the ball on the move, but the move was to the rim. As you can see that Brogdon was in trouble.
Morris challenged and somehow crawls in for his first hoop of the night. Now Brogdon back the other way, right back at him. And Holiday, it's knocked out by Denver.
Gary Harris.
7-point lead for the Denver Nuggets. We're trying to figure out the trivia question they asked, and we still don't have it. We do this for a living and we don't have it.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back.
Look, some nerd in his basement's got it.
Why is the nerd always in the basement?
Because that's where nerds hang out. Nerds hang out in the basement.
Always in the basement.
They always are in the basement. Nerds. They hang out
it's a
there.
stereotype. Not only the basement, it's usually their parents' basement.
It's their
right?
mother's basement. Yes, it is.
Like,
yeah.
as if they can't get their own basement.
They don't. They don't have their own basement.
They can get their own place.
They do not.
Nerds live alone sometimes.
Very seldom. They live in packs.
Apparently in basements.
In basements. Yes.
Denver comes in tied for the second best record in the Western Conference. And, obviously they made the progress last year in terms of winning a series, reaching the second round, that great series with Portland. Do they feel you like the second best team in the Western Conference? And if not, what's going to get them that much closer?
They don't, to me, and I think what gets them closer there is just more definitive play at guys from certain positions. We were talking earlier about the two-guard position for them and that wing spot. They've had a constant rotation of guys coming in between Beasley, Craig, Barton, Gary Harris. And so who's going to actually seize that position and take charge of that position, and do they need a move to make a move to solidify who's going to take over that spot?
I think in order to become like the second best team in the West, you need some of those guys to establish themselves. You can count on them every single night. So this guy's coming off the bench. He's going to get us, he's going to get us 10 to 15 points. This guy, and you get your rotation set. Then once your rotation's set, there's always guys who are unhappy. They're at the end. But at least the guys who are playing say, I know my spot. I know I'm going in. They seem to be experimenting a little bit still with lineups. Grant is getting more and more time, which I do like. He's a good defender, can switch and do some stuff. But it just feels like the Clippers should be better. Utah's been playing tremendous, but Denver's just they win games. I mean, they find a way to win games. And they have one of the best big men in the league in Jokic, who's just so unique, can do so many different things. But it just feels like the Clippers and some other teams should be better. But I agree with you, Brian. Until they kind of get into a 9-man rotation, that every single night those 9 guys are playing, it's hard to count on it.
One way to solve that issue might be, because we always talk about how deep Denver is, would be to package a couple of guys for an upgrade for a third scorer or someone else who can create his own shot, and you don't have to play through Jokic. Is there an argument to be made for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you get a guy that can come in, but he's got to be able to play with Jokic. He's got to be able to move without the ball and do some stuff. I just think if you get a ball dominant guy, it just takes the ball out of your best player's hands. You don't want that, but you want a guy that can play with him, that can pass and move, and probably an upgrade. Because if you take those guys, all the guys you mentioned, Brian, there's 4 or 5 of them, and get a guy who just comes in and solidifies that, I just think the team plays better. Just everything gets settled down. Yeah, so probably a package deal for Denver would not be bad to go try to find that next.
Like someone who is obviously a starter at a wing. If you can package 2 or 3 guys or guys in assets or whatever, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, we were talking off camera about someone like DeMar DeRozan, who's a proven commodity at that position that can come in, and then all the rest of the guys know that's the starting 2 for this team, and then they fill in behind that. But it's a good problem to have, because you can look at it the other way. While they're experimenting and trying to figure out what their rotation is, they still have managed to be the second best, be tied for the second best record in the West. And so, when they do figure that out, it's not like they're falling, so far behind while they're trying to figure that out. So they're still in a good position. They have some good young pieces that have some value, and as long as they have that, they will be able, deals will come their way all day long.
And they're a young team generally, so, I mean, there's also an argument to be made to ride this out, see what you have second time around in the postseason, see what develops and go from there. Yeah,
sometimes the best decision or the best move is the one that you don't make.
Yeah.
So, having a chance to see this team, I mean, last year was their first time, in the playoffs. They were within 1 game of going to the Western Conference Finals. And, so they learned a lot last year, and it's something to be said about standing pat and seeing if they've, taken a step going forward with this core group that they've had to develop over the last couple of years.
Meanwhile, Indiana is 5th in the East to start the night. They're starting this 5-game road trip, so we'll see where they wind up at the end of those 5 games. But Victor Oladipo announced recently that he's targeting January 29th which is a little more than a week from now for his return after missing I believe tonight is the 82nd game he's missed, so a full season he's missed with that horrible quad injury. How much does that change things for the Pacers, and what does that raise their ceiling to in a fairly wide open East beyond, say, Milwaukee?
Yeah, no, it improves their team greatly. He's another playmaker. He can go there. You know, they have Brogdon that they didn't have last year, who I'm a big fan of. And you get Oladipo and Brogdon, you're going to get good, solid backcourt play out of those guys. They can both play make. They can both run pick and roll. Oladipo's been really dynamic. It'll take him a while to get going, though. I mean, you come in February 1st, let's just call it, you know, and you've been sitting out an entire year. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to catch up and stuff, because but when he does, they're a team. Tonight they're doing the same thing. They're in Denver, they're on the road, and they're hanging around. Right. They hang around. That's why they're 27-15. They don't get blown out. They hang around in games. They win their share, and they're unique enough to play two bigs, which a lot of teams don't do. They play Turner and Sabonis out there a lot. And they have enough. Brogdon's a playmaker, and they have enough shooting around there that every night they're dangerous. And so you add Oladipo, who was playing great last year before he got hurt, and they could easily slip in there and be the second or third best team in that Eastern Conference easily.
Yeah, and I think they like where they are. They're people are aware of them, but they're still kind of under the radar. One thing that you know that you're going to get when you play against the Nate McMillan team is they're going to defend and they're going to play hard. So he gets that consistent effort from them every single night. When you add Oladipo, who can come in and it gives you a guy that at the end of the shot clock can go get a bucket for you, and that you have to respect from the three-point line. He can drive the ball, he can cut off ball, so it gives them a multitude of weaponry that they haven't had for 82 games. The thing that I always, that makes me chuckle is they target January 29th. What if he's feeling better on January 24th or 20th?
No, January 28th. I'm not playing.
So I always wonder how they just determine, this is the date that your knee is going to be feeling better where you can get out there.
It is interesting when you hear those dates, especially from the player himself in this case.
Right.
January 29th. That's going to be the day. Exactly. I don't think it's set in stone, but I think it's more of a guideline.
Right.
We'll see if he is actually on the floor. All right, as we check in once again on our way to break, Nikola Jokic, 12 points now in the third quarter. It's a 10-point lead as the Nuggets are opening things up on their home floor. One other game on the day, and we've got that next. DeMar DeRozan kept one streak alive, saw another come to an end. Heat and Spurs coming up.